there. Bad fundraising, staff turnover, downward turning poll numbers. Not good, pal. Not good at all. Sorry, I just don't see it. I know you're trying to paint a rosy picture of a lean, mean campaign that is out there, but when Georgia becomes a toss-up state, Georgia, we're not talking about like Rhode Island, we're talking about Georgia.
Stop it.
Come on, man.
If you
admit that there's problems.
You're nuts if you believe Georgia's a toss-up. That's not even happening, Gene. None of this is unexpected in a sense. Donald Trump is a novice political candidate. It's early in the race. Extremely early. Hillary Clinton basically just solidified the Democratic Party's nomination. Basically. So you get a little bump in the polls. If this were, August, and these numbers were, 7, 8, 9, 10 points of, Trump and Clinton, separating them, then I'd be nervous. This early in the race, I've never seen a poll, Gene, in recent memory, where the Republican is ahead this early in the race. Never. And we've won. I'm talking about even George Bush. Go look at his numbers in both of his races. He was not ahead this early in the race. It's impossible.
But when you're losing in states that you should be counting on to win,
he's statistically tied in Pennsylvania and Ohio, 2 states that are must-wins to carry the presidency. 2 states that the Republicans have not carried in several cycles. Florida, he's somewhat down. If he wins Florida, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, it's a wrap. And you have President Trump. Regardless of the 10-point spread. Ann Coulter, and we spoke about this a few times, Gene. Ann Coulter.
You're invoking Ann Coulter, oh man.
Listen, she once said that it's really not that important, the Hispanic vote, because guess where most of them live?
Inner cities.
And big states that vote Democrat no matter what. So It doesn't matter if they get 95% of the vote or 80% of the vote. They're going to win those states regardless. And, with the Electoral College, it doesn't matter. Donald Trump does nothing by accident. Trust me. He's fighting for the battleground states, and he's not doing bad in any of them. So this national poll is irrelevant. Sadly, for people who think that this is a democracy here and the people who win the popular vote will become president, that's just not true. So, good luck with all that.
Listen, bottom line is, perception's reality in politics. The perception of Donald Trump's campaign right now is that is erratic, off-kilter, inconsistent, and in trouble. If you even appear to be in trouble, that's enough to keep donors away. And that's being proven right now because the donors are not showing up. Yes, Donald Trump has the money to self-fund and he can do it all himself. But donations are also a sign of support from within the party. If well-heeled donors are staying away now, in the run-up to the convention, what makes you think they're going to be there later on? There are people out there, conservatives I know, that are out there considering Hillary Clinton because they don't think she'll be as bad as Donald Trump.
Let me ask you something, Gene.
Go for it.
Let's say the Paul Ryans of the world, the Mitch McConnells of the world, and the Republican donor class of the world do not rally around Donald Trump. And we get blown out in an embarrassing landslide. Let's just say in that alternate universe that happens. Do you really believe that the Republican Party will not just collapse upon itself and disappear? Because I do. I think that if you violate a guy like me, who was not a natural Donald Trump supporter.
No one violates Russ Scala, not when I'm around.
But I'm telling you, if you do this to me at this point, for the record, for those of you guys who don't listen every week, I was a Ted Cruz guy. But I'm fully on board with Donald Trump now. If you intentionally sabotage Donald Trump and allow Hillary Clinton to be the next president of this country, you will lose me, Republican Party, forever. And if you don't agree with that, Gene, you're delusional.
Sounds like a bad breakup ultimatum. If you do this, I'm walking out that door. I mean, come on. What are you, a jilted lover?
Even if only 1/3 of the party agrees with me, that ends the Republican Party in this country. Ends it.
If 10% agree with you, that ends the Republican Party, because that means that you're losing the White House for this year and for the next 4 years, and it means you're losing the Supreme Court for a generation. You might as well just fold up your tent and go home.
The country's done. We're done.
But I don't understand. Here's what I don't understand. Where is the urgency in Donald Trump? He's just thinking that everything's peachy keen and okay. This is not the looks of a campaign that is okay.
Gene, when you go to war, you want a guy level-headed. Donald Trump, can't even believe I'm about to say this, is level-headed.
What?
He's not panicking.
Come on.
Everything is going smooth.
Are you kidding me now?
Listen, he's making all the right calls. He's not panicking. Never let him see you sweat, Gene.
The only place where his head is then is in the sand, if that's the case. Because I don't think that there's anything level-headed about Donald Trump.
He's
Nothing.
not panicking right now. You want him panicking? What do you want him to do, Gene? What would you like him to do? You want him to change his tone?
I don't want him to change his tone. I want him to whip people on board.
He's got people on board.
Well, listen, he had a good meeting with...
He's tied in Pennsylvania and Ohio, for God's sake.
I'm about to give you some ammo. He did have a good meeting today in New York, today being Tuesday, this week, with evangelicals, meeting and discussing issues. And what came out of that meeting is a sense that Donald Trump may not be a Christian conservative. He says 2 Corinthians and all that, right? But he will be a person to fight for religious rights, values, and freedoms, and to make sure that they're protected in a Trump presidency, which is, I guess, what everybody was looking for out of him. And he said the right things. But
I mean,
I just don't see... I can see evangelicals coming out for him. I don't see the coalition needed in these swing states that will get independent voters to vote for him. You're a Trump advocate right now, Russ.
Yes.
Give me the speech to the independent voter to get them to come over to your side.
Terrorists are trying to kill you and your family. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are editing tapes to remove the word Allah and replace it with God so that the average dummy voter thinks it's some white Christian extremist who's bombing abortion clinics. That's the pitch, and Donald Trump will say things like that. Your fools like Mitt Romney and John McCain will never say something like that. This country is going down the toilet, and we have... I mean, this is the most fascist administration we've ever had in this country. They're intentionally manipulating government records, 911 tapes, IRS investigations, State Department investigations, intentionally changing words. They're changing these words. And what is the media doing about it? Turning a blind eye. So who do we have a free press in this country anymore, Gene? Do we have a free press?
Did you see how he pivoted there from answering my question to another topic? That is a sign of a good radio man right there.
I'm so aggravated.
I don't
know if the rest of the country is feeling this way, but it's like we're fighting against an enemy within, where the media is on board with the Obama administration and the left, and they just change history. They rewrite it as they go. And the average dummy voter out there has no clue what the hell... an illegal immigrant from Britain, by the way, Andre Walker, tried to kill Donald Trump. And this is not like front page news.
Are you blaming
Gene is
Andre Walker?
laughing. Everybody's laughing
Are you blaming
about
Andre Walker? That's why I'm laughing.
I'm not blaming Andre Walker. But what I'm saying is just imagine if someone wearing a Trump hat attempted to take a gun from a police officer and tried to kill Hillary Clinton. What would be all over the damn newspapers? But where is the media in the United States of America? Where is the free press guaranteed by the First Amendment to the Constitution? Where the hell are they?
I'm with you, pal. You mentioned Andre Walker's name. It's time to give him a little time on the show. And then we're going to come back. We're going to continue this topic. We're going to talk about media hypocrisy when it comes to the coverage of Orlando and the coverage of gun control and gun rights and what an AR-47 may be and all this other stuff, all this media ignorance out there. And we're also going to talk about the media in the context of what Russ was just talking about. What if things were the other way around? What if it was a Hillary Clinton supporter that attacked a reporter and was kept on staff? What if it was Hillary Clinton going out there with her southern accent in a black crowd? Media hypocrisy coming up behind enemy lines. Gene Barrett, Russ Scala. We'll be back right after a little Andre Walker.
Hello and welcome. My name's Andre Walker, and your weekly monologue starts right now. News this week that the Trump campaign for presidency is down to its last $1.3 million. The revelation has caused widespread ridicule from Hillary supporters across social media. Okay, Democrats, let me get this straight. American liberals think it's hilarious that a billionaire isn't rich enough to run for the White House, but have absolutely no problem with somebody who spent her entire life suckling on the teat of the taxpayer being rich enough. And they say the left are against elitism. What a joke. Perhaps the most bizarre story this week was Charlie Sheen's claim that he was given fake diamond cufflinks by Trump as a wedding present. Well, Charlie, and I don't mean to be rude, but the special gift you've been giving to women is way worse than that. I think we'd all feel better receiving a fake diamond cufflink set from Trump than a real pearl necklace from Charlie Sheen. What can I say? They both like to splash out every now and again. Also, Charlie, if you hadn't tried to smash the diamond up and snort it, you probably wouldn't have known it was fake and wouldn't care. Hey, Donald, he gave me a crystal. It was not snortable, it was not smokable. I want my money back, senor. That was my attempt at Spanish. I'm joking, of course. Sheen says he only realised the diamonds were fake when he was having all of his jewellery valued. Hang on. Why would somebody be getting all their jewellery valued anyway? What sort of personal problems lead you to consider selling everything you own to raise money fast? I wonder. You know what, Charlie? If times are so hard, don't call the pawnbrokers. Surely you are a sad enough wretch to warrant your Hollywood liberal father to want to stick his nose in. After all, he seems to believe he can solve every other problem in the world. I blame, by the way, the TV series The West Wing, but that's just me. But overall, so Trump doesn't like Mr. Sheen, or Mr. Estevez, as he's actually called. But that's not really news, is it? After all, if Trump liked our nacho-noshing neighbours, he wouldn't be offering to build a wall to keep them out of America. Today, by the way, is International Yoga Day, a day for sandal-wearing, deodorant-free leftists to have their annual bath whilst pontificating to us about the joys of sitting with your legs crossed in total silence. I won't be participating, of course, because I believe it's only appropriate to sit with your legs crossed under 3 circumstances. 1, you're under the age of 5 and at school. 2, you're so desperate to pee you have to take measures to avoid a flood. Or 3, you're a female wearing a short skirt in the proximity of Bill Clinton. I would, however, of course, be willing to join in National Right-Wing Steak-Eating, Beer-Swilling, Football-Watching Day. Although, to be fair, in most American households, that comes every weekend anyway. Also, I never use the word vegetarian in conversation because both vegetalist and carniphobe sound way, way more offensive. Look, I cannot go this week without talking about guns. It's been a proud week for me. Most of the American media and the political class know even less about this subject than this slimy Brit does. And to be fair, that level of ignorance really does take commitment. But my favourite pronouncement of the week was when Hillary said that anyone being investigated for terrorist offences by the FBI should be banned from buying guns. You know what, Hillary? I think most Americans are more worried about somebody who's being investigated by the FBI given the nuclear launch codes. They can both do a lot of damage in the hands of Democrats, but that doesn't mean they're as bad as each other. And let's face it, I've met a lot of NRA members over the years, and precious few appear to have jihadi leanings. That was a monologue. Just time to ask you to remember British patriots in your prayers over the next few days. On Thursday, we vote on whether to declare independence from the European Union. They've threatened us, they've undermined us, and they've given us taxation without democratic representation. This is London calling from occupied Europe. Hopefully by next week, the motherland, at least, will no longer be behind enemy lines. Good night.
Check out Andre's column at townhall.com. Check him out on Twitter at AndreJPWalker. And read Andre's work here, Behind Enemy Lines. Now back to the show. Gene and Russ, back behind enemy lines. You can also catch Andre Walker on his official website, www.andrewalker.uk. Russ, What'd you think of that monologue, man? I thought
Oh my
that
God,
was
there's
fantastic.
so
wasn't
much
it?
there. We don't have enough time to go into it all. But Gene,
Well, there's more. There's more.
Well, before we get to the more, because I don't want to lose this train of thought. I wanted to get your opinion.